Can I just say how bullish soccer I am right now?
Dude, that final was awesome.
Who knew? Good stuff. Good
If
stuff.
all soccer was like that, I would watch a lot more. What's happening, everybody? It's your boys, Steve Strazza. He's Steve Strazza. I'm Sean McLaughlin. Happy holidays to all you. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Festivus. That's my favorite holiday. I don't know about you, Strazza. You got a favorite?
Festivus?
Festivus. Come on. Festivus for the rest of us.
Oh, okay.
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
Nope, nothing.
Did you never watch Seinfeld?
I'm not that old. No.
Strazza, I don't know if we could be friends if you don't get these references. This is unbelievable. All right, we might have to do a second take on this show.
This will be the last Flow show before the holidays, though. So, yeah.
Yes, that is true. So this is the Flow Show, ladies and gentlemen. This is where we, Strazza and I, put together an unscripted show. We totally improvise. We're looking into unusual options activities, see if that leads us into some trade ideas. And you get to see how the sausage is made, how we often come up with trade ideas. So, Strazza, what's on your mind today, buddy?
A couple things came up. It was a short list, showing it right here. Really short list. Also, all bullish, no bearish flow. Kind of a bummer because we've obviously entered a corrective phase since last week. First one that stands out, and this is why I mentioned this off camera. I'm bullish soccer. And this Man U chart is beautiful. Look at it. So I think it was you or Brandon just mentioned Ronaldo contract. I cannot confirm this. I don't know. I'm not a soccer person. But it seems like this huge rip in the chart happened right around that time. So earnings was actually up here. So in late November, this thing went berserk, just about doubled. And now it's just flagging. The upper bounds of this little range here. I think it's very viable above 21.
Well, me too. Not a soccer guy, but seems to me that Ronaldo contract might have been some dead weight, pretty heavy contract there. They were good to be rid of it, huh?
I had the best time watching the Argentina soccer game this weekend.
We were talking right before we went live here at my house. It was crazy. My 8-year-old son was totally into it. He cried when Argentina lost when Argentina won. Excuse me, because he wanted Argentina to lose for some reason. He's 8 years old. I don't know why, but he was very upset. But man, I had no plans on watching that game. But my son had it on. I was drinking my coffee. It's morning time here in Colorado, and I sat down just to kind of sit with him. And next thing I know, I hadn't peeled myself off the couch for 2 hours. That was exciting. Wow.
What a finish. Everything changed at the 80-minute mark. Just incredible. The overtime, it was great. We weren't planning on watching it either. We were out for brunch, and the whole restaurant was just watching TV. So we were watching it as we ate, and then afterwards we went down Duval Street and went to just like a crazy Argentina party, the run around with the flags, the champagne. It was so much fun. So cool.
I believe it. I was in Mexico 2 weeks ago, and we happened to catch a Mexico World Cup game while we were down there. And the Mexico fans were going crazy. We even saw some Argentina fans watching an Argentina game, and on another night they were going crazy. It was something else. But hey, let's get back to options and stocks here for a second, because if you go back to your screen that you had up before, you had the unusual options activity. You had mentioned that all that stuff was bullish, and that surprises me because at the top of that list is Warner Brothers, and you and I have been watching this because we both think this thing's a piece of shit, and we got some long puts on this stock right now. What's going on there in Warner Brothers?
You came to me weeks ago, maybe a month ago now. You said, what is one of the worst looking stocks that we could just put? You just wanted to go long puts, right?
Yep.
And you were like, Warner Bros. Looks pretty bad. I was like, wow, you're absolutely right. This top had just formed and broke down. Look at the follow through we got. Just about cut in half again since completing this top. And look, a chart like this, we always talk about how you don't want to catch a falling knife. That's exactly what this is. There's no telling how far this thing can go before it finds a bottom, but there's no evidence that it is bottoming yet.
Yeah, I came to you, it was a few weeks ago, and basically my thinking was I was looking at my portfolio of positions, and my portfolio was pretty much all long positions. I had some all long or delta neutral positions, and I was thinking to myself, hey man, I need some diversification here. I need to get some long direction, or sorry, some short direction trades on for any downward price action. So I hit you up. I'm like, Strazza, what's the ugliest stock out there that I could get short? And you threw this at me real quick.
Hard
WBD.
to find a worse looking chart than this thing.
Well, so far so good. It's treating us well. Our puts are working. We are long. What are we long? The January puts. We're long the 10 strike. Actually, no, I think we're March. Sorry, I don't have it up here in front of me. But so either somebody knows something, or these are just bargain buyers, right? They're like trying to catch a bottom.
Could they be hedging a short?
Or hedging a short. I don't think you would want. Oh, maybe no. That's not a way to get. I don't know. You know what? Can I say I don't know, Strazza? I don't know. I don't have a feel for it. I just know that the chart looks like dog shit, and we're short.
Yeah, don't want it. So one did stand out, though. We've talked about these stocks over the past few months, talking about them in all of our scans. They keep coming up. I was just at Publix getting my pub sub earlier. Grocery store stocks. Told you I brought a prop. Grocery store stocks. So Kimberly-Clark is a big one, right? They fill the aisles with all whatever household personal products. So here we have it. It's a consumer staple stock. Big market cap too, 45 billion. They were hitting the 140 calls last week. Here's the chart. Got a nice little base here on a relative basis. Looks like it's ready to start outperforming over longer time frames. And look, it's been a mess since 2016, right? But at least our risk is well-defined and clearly defined at these 2016 highs. We get above there, call it 139. We like it. We put the trade on yesterday.
Well, I'll tell you, those December 16th 140 calls, my gut tells me that was people, if you could zoom in on my chart here, Brandon, people were getting pretty geeked up about this little breakout here and probably trying to play for a quick little hitter. Get a lot of gamma on some calls that are expiring quickly. And hey, they probably paid, less than $1 for them. And if this thing followed through and even traded up to, like, say, 143, 144, they probably would have had a 5, 6, 10 bagger on their hands, depending on when and how they bought those calls. So that strikes me, Strazza, as someone was getting really speculative, someone who likes to watch charts, probably somebody a lot like us.
Options make a lot of sense for these staple stocks because if you're just buying the common, they don't move. But boy, you can hit some home runs buying long calls like that in these staples names because a lot of times the premium is just so low. If they do, God forbid, run a bit, like you said, 5 bagger, 10 bagger, whatever. So that does make sense to me. Another thing I'll say, when I look at your chart here, if you just put your cursor over it at those pivot highs, that's just a perfect little fail, right? And I was just flipping through my whole U.S. sectors and industry group chart book for getting ready for the call tonight. That's the big theme. A lot of charts like this, just more basing needed in the strongest stocks, the strongest sectors, strongest indexes. Industrials, the Dow, they look very similar to this. Financials, the incremental new highs failed, didn't get overbought, more basing.
Yeah, the follow through has fallen apart a little bit lately. That's not necessarily extremely bearish, but it's not bullish.
Yeah,
if that helps.
It's just a continuance of the same theme that we've seen all year. Breakouts aren't sticking still, right? So more time is going to be required for this bottoming process to kind of play itself out. As far as KMB goes, you made a great point. This is a buy on strength setup. Back above those pivot highs. Here, it's about, is it 139?
Well, we touched 140 late last week. But yeah, about 138 would be the level there to break above at least 6-month highs.
And I like how you have the old highs from all the way back in 2016 coming in around the very same level. So
yeah,
they want to be patient with, like you said, the options investors that were hitting these contracts up last week are probably out of it by now. We don't care about that. These staple stocks are actually where you want to be right now. Look at this relative trend. This is a bear market base. That's what you call this. But staples making new multi-year highs relative to the broader market. These are your leaders right now.
Yeah. Well, I like this Kimberly Clark, but you said it. It requires a little patience. I'd like to see it back above 140. And if it does trade back up above 140, this volatility, implied volatility, you can see it here on my screen, likely will stay low. That would set up a nice opportunity to buy calls to participate in this. And, in these staple stocks, keeping it simple like that, in these slow movers, just by buying some calls, it might have 6 months to play out. That feels to me like the right way to play a stock like that. But let's be patient. I know you're in it, but at least from an options trading perspective, I'm going to wait until it gets above 140 before I get excited.
It still hasn't triggered our setup. We'll
okay.
be above that 139.
Gotcha.
But and just take a look too. If you're looking for long opportunities in this market, a lot of these grocery store names don't look so bad right now.
Okay. How about Kroger? Is Kroger looking good?
See.
I only ask because my son owns four shares of it.
No. Kroger's not
it's so good.
Not quite. Sprouts Farmers Market, trading at the upper bounds of its range. SFM.
Sprouts, we would love to buy Sprouts because Sprouts is our home base grocery store. That's where we shop. Unfortunately, in our household, in our rule with our
dividends, right?
Exactly. It has to pay a dividend, and Sprouts doesn't pay a dividend, so we don't buy it.
Weiss Market's another one near highs. Yeah, these grocery store operators are pretty hot.
Yeah, that Sprouts chart does look pretty good. Man, if they would just pay a dividend, even just 1 cent, then I'd be tempted to buy it.
General Mills, Kellogg's not terrible.
I'm looking at General Motors. That's a different story. What's the ticker for General Mills?
GIS.
Oh, that's right, GIS.
Ooh, look at this base in JM Smucker. Don't they make like the peanut butter and jelly? SJM. Check out that one.
Yeah, that's the jelly maker.
Lamb Weston LW, for those of you who are into French fries. Biggest potato manufacturer in the world, I think.
That's a good looking chart, that Lamb Weston.
Yeah.
Lamb Weston.
Frozen potatoes.
So Strazza, let's take a high level step back here for a second. We're heading into the year end. We got basically 2 weeks until the end of the year. We got 2 long weekends coming up. I mean, this doesn't feel like the time to get aggressive. What do you think?
Oh, never. Never this time of year. You knew the answer to that. Yeah, everybody's on vacation, shaky tape, a lot of failed moves.
I was just throwing you a softball.
Yeah, thank you for that. No, it's not at all. Wait, come back after the New Year's. Everybody will be back to work then. That's a much more reliable tape, right? We tend to see a lot of kind of false moves in these last few weeks. Low volumes, and then they'll come in and reverse them early in the year, right?
Right. My mindset, at least over the last couple of days, thinking about heading into the end of the year from an options trader's perspective is I feel like the kind of trades I want to put on right now are more of the delta neutral premium collection trades. Like, looking in the ETFs, something like the GDXJ has relatively high implied volatility, at least relative to its peers. Not the best setup, but it's something to look at. Maybe XME.
Typically the move, delta neutral strategies in a slow tape.
Definitely. I like to have them on. I mean, here's the problem with that. Yes, you want a slow tape when you're delta neutral, but when you're delta, if you're trying to put on a new trade in a slow tape, oftentimes the implied volatility isn't juicy because it's been a quiet tape. Like, you want to get in when it's a wild tape, and then you want it to get quiet. That's the ideal scenario. But looking at this XME, this might be the way to play it. I mean, if people if there's anybody out there likes to trade iron condors or strangles, that kind of thing, this XME might be nice, right? We got some upside resistance around 55. We got some low resistance, maybe down around 43. Support like around 44-ish. That might be a trade to look at, selling some January options, a little trade into the end of the year. I don't hate it.
There are a lot of charts that look like this right now, just like we were talking about earlier. So if you want more, I'll send a bunch your way. But a lot of things just fell back into their old range, and a lot of the leaders too, right? So betting on a leader, which fell back into its old range, you would think the downside shouldn't be that significant either, but it's probably capped at these prior highs too. So probably some really good opportunities out there for that strategy right now.
Well, you heard it here first. Strazza needs more work to do. So if you guys want some more charts from Strazza, hit him up, info@allstarcharts.com. He'll be glad to hook you up.
Got a lot of charts, especially on conference call days.
All right, buddy. So this is, as you said, this is the last flow show for 2022. It's been a fun year. We've had some good shows. We've had some good calls. We've had some good trades. We've also had some duds. That's just the way it works, right? I mean, we're like I said at the top of the show, we come into this totally unscripted. I have no idea what stocks that Strazza wants to talk about. He throws them at me and we look into some possible trades. Looking forward to 2023, Strazza. You and I got some really fun stuff cooking. We'll keep people guessing on what that is yet, but we got some fun stuff cooking for 2023. I can't wait.
Absolutely. We'll talk about that more on future shows, I'm sure. But this has been awesome doing the Flow Show this year. I'm glad we did it. And thank you, everybody that comes and watches us every week. Happy holidays.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'll give one little tease, Strazza. Some future Flow shows next year, you and I might do them together in person.
Yeah. And not in the United States. Did I give away too much?
Oh, you gave away too much. That's too much. Too much. All right, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy Festivus, even though Strazza doesn't know what Festivus is. Oh, man.
I know now.
All right, everybody. Have a great new year. We'll talk to you in 2023. Take care, everybody.